Hello fellow A-Falls and welcome to Long's Bricks. A little something different to take a look at today. This is the Mega G.I. Joe Skystriker versus Cobra His Tank. I am really excited for this. It's so cool that Mega has gotten the license to G.I. Joe. I've been a big fan of Mega and Mega Constructs, Mega Blocks, all the different names it's gone by. I've always thought that the sets they do are really nice, the figures are great, and this is just something that makes so much sense to me. I mean, we've had Hasbro take shots at G.I. Joe in the past with, you know, Creon and that kind of stuff, and it just hasn't really been that good. I've also taken a look at a couple other like G.I. Joe block building sets a little bit earlier on. I'll put a link to that video at the end of this if you want to check it out. And those were kind of a mess, but I have a lot of faith in this. Like I said, I've been a big fan of Mega Blocks, and I just think this makes a lot of sense. There's so many opportunities, so many iconic vehicles and playset opportunities that they could take advantage of here. So this is a great first offering. You get probably the two most iconic vehicles, you know, one from each faction here. This is a really cool first set, and I'm really hoping this takes off and we can see a very immersive line here. I think this could have a lot of potential. So first off, packaging here, very reminiscent of the 80s packaging of the original toys. Looks fantastic. You get 4 figures included: Ace, Duke, the Hiss Driver, and Cobra Commander. This just looks really cool. We have 617 pieces, and I guess this set is HYL43. I don't know, set numbers for Mega Construct stuff is a little weird, but in any case, I think this is going to be really cool. Up top here, again, showing you some of the features. You can open the wings, spin the turret, open the cockpits, all of these missiles and everything included. Very cool. Taking a look at the bottom here, your usual warnings and whatnot. Got the Hiss Tank over on this side. Got the Skystriker over on this side. Flipping it around to the back. Again, we got the black and white motif, which is, again, very classic to the original 80s packaging. So this is just really cool. I'm really excited for this. Honestly, I bought this as soon as it came out, which at this point was like 2 weeks ago. For whatever reason, the United States Postal Service decided to, like, get this very close to my house and then randomly send it to New York. And then it had to come all the way back. So somebody must have messed up and put it on the wrong truck. And unfortunately, that delayed this video by about a week or so. So here we are, but I finally have it. I'm very excited to check it out. I'm going to get it put together. I don't think there are any stickers. Usually with Mega, everything is printed, but we'll see. But I'll get this fully assembled and we can take a closer look. So here's everything you get in the set fully assembled. We have our 4 figures. We have the Skystriker and the Hiss Tank. As you can see, the Skystriker is considerably larger than the Hiss Tank. We're going to take a look at the 4 figures first. So here are the 4 figures that are included in the set. We have Ace, Duke, Cobra Commander, and the Hiss Driver. I'll start here with Duke. These are pretty standard in terms of articulation and build for Mega Constructs figures, but they look fantastic. I really have always liked the way Mega Constructs has done their figures. Not really trying to be like Lego minifigures. They certainly have more articulation and honestly a little bit more detail as well. Just for a size comparison, here is kind of a standard Lego minifigure, so you can see slightly larger, maybe about a head taller than a Lego minifigure. But yeah, Duke looks fantastic. He comes with this gun here, which fits very easily into the hand. We'll take that out. He also has this backpack here. I assume this is supposed to be a parachute because it kind of looks like this is meant to kind of open up and be a parachute, but I'm not 100% sure about that. But the backpack is removable as well. And then he has this helmet, which is also removable. You can see that there's a tiny little hole in the top of the head and there is a peg inside the helmet. So very easy to pop that on and off. I think the head came out fantastic. Got the hair there. Paint on the eyes and the face is very good. He has the bandolier here, which looks great. We have an American flag here on the side of his sleeve. So you have a ball joint for the head. So you got a lot of nice movement there. You can look down, you can look up, you can tilt side to side, look side to side, no problem. You have a hinge and a rotation in the arm. You have a hinge and rotation in the elbow. You have a wrist swivel. You have a waist swivel, not a full 180, kind of stops a little bit, but it can go both sides. You have ball joints in the hips, so you can kick pretty far forward, pretty far back, not too much out to the side, but maybe 45 degrees. And then you have knee bend, 90 degree there. It almost looks like the boots can swivel. Oh, they can. The boots can swivel. So it looks like you could actually pop these off if you wanted to, but pop that back on. So you have a little bit of a boot swivel there. You have the connectors on there on the bottom of the feet. So just all in all, really nice looking minifigure. I think it looks pretty great. I'm going to put all of his accessories back on here. And you can see that there's a peg hole on the back for this to peg in very simply. And then we'll pop the gun back in his hand. I also think it's kind of neat how they all have little display stands with their names on them. Very basic, but get the job done if you don't want to pose these in the vehicles. You have these cool little display stands that they can connect to very easily. So yeah, all in all, I think Duke looks fantastic. Next up, we'll move on to Ace. He's got this kind of space helmet on, but you can remove it. And again, same thing. It just has a peg on the inside that pegs into the top of the head. Again, the detailing on the face is very nice. Same articulation. Now he's got this piece here on the back, but it still allows for something to peg into his back if you like. I think this is probably removable. Yeah, you can slide that up. So if you wanted to take this off, you absolutely could. And then you have some nice paint and detail here on like the cuff and the side of the sleeve. And on the side of the legs as well. All the same articulation as Duke. But he does not. I'm wondering if the boot swivel for Duke is just because they used a different piece to peg in there, because he doesn't have anything like that. He's got solid from the knee down, but that's perfectly fine. He doesn't come with any accessories in terms of weaponry. I do kind of wish that they all did, but I still think he looks great. I love the dome here. I think that works really well. All in all, a very nice looking figure. Now we'll move on to the Cobra side, starting with Cobra Commander. I think they nailed it. I think he looks great. Really nice printing there on the chest. The head looks great. Got that classic dome done in a really nice silvery paint. He comes with this little gun. Unfortunately, it can't connect to the back. It almost kind of looks like it can, but this connection here is far too large. And it almost looks like it could peg into the smaller area, like they have the indent of where the gun would lay, like on the classic figure. But it can't. But he does have the gun included, which looks good. Pops into the hand very easily. And then he's got this kind of like little belt here that looks like it has a knife molded onto it. And you can slide that up. If you wanted, you could pop that all the way off. You could pop the leg off the ball joint and slide it off if you wanted. But it looks really good. Nice paint detailing here on the side of the leg. Yeah, all in all, I think it's a really successful minifigure. Looks really good. And then last up in the set, we have the Hiss Driver. Again, doesn't have any guns. I wish he came with just some kind of weaponry, but the detailing is great. Paint here on the chest looks good. He's got kind of a visor and mouth guard, so it's kind of a simplistic design for the face, but looks pretty good. You can see that he's kind of got the same leg molding here as Ace, but I think that makes sense. I think it works just fine. Really nice articulation. I really like these figures. I really, like I said, there's so many different characters to do. I hope this line takes off and they really give us a lot of stuff. I would love to see the whole roster of characters done in this style, and so many vehicle and playset possibilities as well, but I'm getting ahead of myself. But yeah, all four of these figures are great. I love the little display stands. My only complaint, I wish each one came with an individual weapon. That's really my only complaint, but I guess they kind of figure these two might be doing battle on the ground while these two are piloting the vehicles, so that might be why they didn't give them their own weaponry. But yeah, the figures are fantastic. Really, really happy with them. Can't wait for more. And let's move on to, we'll do the Hiss Tank first. So here is the Hiss Tank, definitely the smaller of the two vehicles. I almost kind of wish the set had two Hiss Tanks to the one Skystriker, just because it is such a size difference. But I think for the universe that they're going for, this makes sense in universe. But it's just really nicely done. Everywhere you see detail that is printed, there are no stickers in this entire set. And that's something that Mega Bloks or Mega does that I really enjoy, that there are no stickers to apply. Everything is printed. Looks really sharp. You have the 788, you have the 363, got the Cobra symbols around. We have treads here that do work. Really nice working treads. Now, it's probably not going to work super well on the cloth here I have on my display station, but you can see it does work. Really nice. You have the movable turret that goes all the way around that has a Cobra symbol printed on there, as well as some like dials and you know, detail printed on there in terms of the mechanics, the working of the turret. You can move them up and down. This thing spins 360. You have the canopy here, which does open, and you can fit a character inside. It looks a little tight, I'll be honest. When I was building this, I was thinking to myself, you know, why did they make this so narrow? But it does work, and I'll show that off in a moment. But yeah, there are no like details or printed control panels in here, but you have this nice print here on the front. And just all in all, I think it's pretty successful. You could even, if you have some extra characters, once they become available, you could have them stand here on the back. So just to show that off with the Hiss driver, you could easily peg someone here on the back, have someone catch a ride that way, something like that. Move in. He does not want to cooperate with me. There we go. Nope, still doesn't want to. I promise you can do it. I don't know why he doesn't want to connect on here. There we go. Well, whatever. He's squatting, but it got it done. So you could have a character, probably two, honestly. You could probably fit two here on the back, which is really cool. But placing the Hiss driver inside, you're going to just push the legs together, and then he will just fit right in that space. And then the arms will kind of sit there, and then this will close around. Might have to move the arms in ever so slightly, just so that there's clearance for that canopy to come down. Whoops. So we'll just bring that in. And close it up. Yeah, and he looks great inside. Oh, now it's catching on his hand. I have to say, he's being very uncooperative. I think he's a little camera shy. There we go. So he's inside piloting, no issue whatsoever. And then you can see, you might think it's a little narrow in there as well, but just kind of put the legs together and then pop him in. And now Cobra Commander is wielding the turret, which looks great. I will say sometimes I have trouble because this part spins, but it doesn't necessarily take him along with it. It's not like a full bucket. So you kind of have to like just make sure he's kind of picked up and he can spin around with it. You might have to kind of like lift him up a little bit. That's the only drawback to the Hiss tank, is the fact that if you want to spin this all the way around, sometimes he gets a little caught because it's kind of a narrow space in there. So I do kind of wonder why they made that choice. I feel like they could have left a little bit of room in there just to spin this around a little bit easier, but you can definitely just kind of pick him up, spin it to wherever you want, and then kind of put him back in, and it's not an issue. But yeah, you can definitely have someone in there working the turret. So I think this came out great. I mean, it could be a little bigger, but I'm totally fine with the size, and it's definitely a very faithful recreation of a Hiss tank. I think aesthetically it looks absolutely fantastic. Next up, we have the Skystriker, a very iconic G.I. Joe vehicle. Looks amazing. Again, all of the detail you see on here is printed. There are no stickers. All of the stripes, the G.I. Joe logos, the little kind of warning labels all around. You can see it says walkway or panel removal, no step, those kinds of things. All of that is printed. Looks absolutely amazing. We have the canopy here, which can open, and we can fit our two characters inside. So taking a closer look here, you can see there's one kind of molded seat, and then the second seat is just kind of brick built, but I think that works fine. Very simplistic inside. I think it's interesting, and I don't know if it'll be very easy to see this here, but they kind of went to the trouble of building in what looks like it would be a control panel, but then didn't print anything on that, which I thought was kind of interesting. But still, overall, it looks great. If we go ahead and put our figures inside, we'll take Ace and drop him into the front seat, and he fits in there very easily. Duke, we will have to remove the backpack, because he won't fit otherwise, but we can take that off and we can go ahead and sit him in the seat behind Ace. And then canopy closes up, works well. Like I said, there's all this detailing around. You can see where it says like walkway, panel removal. You have all these great logos here on the side. You also have this kind of missile panel here printed on. I love the stripes on the wings. You can see it says no step in a couple places. This piece can move. I'm not 100% sure. It's probably something to do with, you know, air drift or something. I'm not a mechanic or a a pilot of any means, so I don't really know exactly all the workings there, but this little piece here can move. These fins look fantastic. You have the engines built in here. All of that looks really sharp. The wings can move, and I think it's very interesting. The way they're done is they're kind of set in there, and they kind of have interlocking teeth, so that when you move one, it moves both of them, kind of like two gears, which is really cool. So we can just go ahead and pop that out, and you can see when you move one, it will move the other. So that just pops out, looks fantastic. Underneath here, we have some landing gear, which unfortunately does not retract. It's just kind of built in. But then you have all of these missiles underneath. So you have this kind of ridiculously massive missile here, and all of these are removable. So you can pop this off. Well, that whole part's not supposed to come off, but you can pull this. And now I'm just breaking it. I will say this one's a little bit more difficult to remove, but basically this is supposed to unpeg from there, and then you would just peg it back in, but this white piece is supposed to stay under here. But anyway, so that's the largest missile. Then you have two of these smaller missiles. These come off a lot easier. You just peg these into kind of the middle section here of this 1x3. Popping that in there. Then you have these missiles. So you really have, I would say, 1, 2, 3, 4 style of missiles. And then these here can also be removed. So I think that's really neat. I think it's so cool how, you know, just like the original toy, they have all these different kinds of missiles mounted underneath, and you can just pop them off, you know, and pretend you're firing them at a target. So just really, really well done. I think it looks fantastic. The design, you know, I think it looks exactly like a Skystriker. I think they nailed that. I love all of the printed pieces. You know, two figures fit in the cockpit really well. All of the different missiles. I love the fact that the wings can fold in and retract and then fold out again. I think that looks really, really cool. Really well done functionality-wise, I guess. Yeah, I don't really have too much to complain about with this one. The Hiss tank was also very good. Like I said, couple of small things in terms of like moving, you know, the turret pilot around, but the Skystriker's pretty much a knockout. Like, they really crushed it with this. I don't think there's anything I'd really change. Stylized, it looked, I mean, maybe make the landing gear retract, but I understand that's fairly difficult to achieve, but that's maybe the only thing I would change. Everything else, I think, and I mean, honestly, if you really wanted to, you could just remove these. It's not too difficult. So if you liked the look better without them, it's very simple to just pop these panels off and then pop them back on if you'd like. So not too terribly difficult to do. But yeah, they crushed it with this. I really love this a lot. I think this is a really fantastic set. When I first heard about this, I was like really crazy excited, and I feel like this lived up to my expectations. Both of the vehicles are great. Like I said, maybe not 100% perfect. Are there small things I would change? Sure, I would love it if the landing gear could retract for the Skystriker, but really not a big deal. And I would like it if maybe it was a little bit easier for the turret to swivel around once you place a character in there. It just feels a little tight in certain areas when placing characters in there, but honestly, for the most part, I really love these. Those are such minor little nitpicks. I think all four of the figures look great. Really happy with them. My only complaint with them, I wish Ace and the Hiss driver came with their own, you know, handheld weapon, whatever that would be, just something. But I think maybe the thought was that they'll be in the vehicles because they're the pilots, so maybe that's why they don't need them, but still would have appreciated if they each had a weapon of some kind. But those are really, honestly, very minor nitpicks. I'm really excited for this. It lived up to my expectations. It was a lot of fun to build. All of the deco on these is painted, which I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, because trying to put stickers on this thing would add so much time to putting it together, and honestly, I probably would not be able to apply them all as nicely as I would like. So I just am really, really blown away with this set. And to me, it just speaks to so much potential. I mean, G.I. Joe is such a vast property with so many characters and vehicles and play sets that they could really take this on for a long time. I mean, we could see more vehicle sets with figures, more play sets with figures. We could see individual figure packs, or maybe like a 5-pack of figures, similar to what we saw with like Halo or several of the other things, Masters of the Universe things they've done like that. So they've handled a lot of the IPs that they've handled them very well, and so I'm very confident that they will continue it on with G.I. Joe. Like I said, very, very happy with this set. And I think it's kind of interesting because we have LEGO doing like a yearly transformer that can actually transform, you know, brick built, which I think is really cool. But we know Lego doesn't really like to do war toys, with a few notable exceptions. So I think it made total sense to turn this property over to Mega and let them do what they do so well. We've seen with the Halo sets and things like that. I think this is such a logical progression from that. And again, I feel like there's so much potential here, and I'm just really, really excited for the future and what Mega could do with this IP. Speaking to this set directly, it is a Mattel Creations exclusive. I don't know if this line will open up. I think this was kind of a test, you know, this first offering. See how this does, and then, you know, I really hope it does well because I want to see more of it. But I think this is a really good first offering. I feel like you have the most iconic vehicle from each faction. You know, Cobra Commander, Duke, kind of the leaders here. I think, you know, everything you need in a first offering is here. I think it's a very good jumping off point. And again, Mattel Creations exclusive, hoping eventually it will open up to probably, maybe not in stores necessarily, but other online retailers, Amazon, third-party sites, things like that, or fan channel. Now, I will say that this is $80 for this set, and it does sound like a lot, but I feel like there are a lot of pieces here. It is 617 pieces, which is fair, and a lot of them are larger pieces, like with the wings and fins and parts, the canopies and such for the vehicles. Not to mention, again, all of that printed detail. I mean, that's a big deal. There's, you know, some money definitely goes into that. I would not want to put these stickers on, or not put these details on as stickers myself. So I will definitely pay a little bit more for all of that printed detail because it looks really, really sharp. The figures are great, nice articulation, you know, nice detailing on them as well. So I feel like, honestly, when you break it down, I don't think $80 is too crazy for the price of this set, especially when you compare it to some things Lego has done and their rising prices. The Skystriker is quite large, and, you know, you're getting 4 figures, which I think is nice. So, yeah, I could honestly see Lego sell something as big as the Skystriker with maybe 2 figures for $50 on its own. I feel like I could definitely see Lego doing something like that. So when you kind of throw in the Hiss tank and 2 more figures, you know, and all of that printed detail, because let's be honest, Lego would probably do most of that as sticker. So I feel like $80 is fair. So I feel like the price, when you really break it down, is not too egregious. If you're a big, you know, just construction toy fan, if you're a big fan of G.I. Joe, I think you're going to love this set. I certainly do. And I cannot wait to see what Mattel and Mega do next. And I really, really hope this takes off because, like I said, I've seen what they've done with Pokemon and Halo, and those IPs have gone for a while and given us a lot of great offerings, and there's so much potential here. So let me know what everyone thinks in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you so much for watching.